Okay, so I want to do a little review on standard form. Standard form is ax plus by equals c. Okay, and this is also a linear equation. Okay, so standard form is you can have x and y on the left side of the equals and a constant on the right. The rule with standard form is this coefficient here always needs to be a positive whole number. And then this one here can just be an integer, positive or negative whole number. And then c needs to be a constant. And hopefully you remember that constant is any number that's not attached to a variable, such as 7, -1, 5. Those all can be constants. Okay? So these, hopefully you know, are slope-intercept form. And you have to be able to go back between standard and slope-intercept form. So if we look at this example here, I want to get x and y on the same side of the equals. So hopefully you know you just subtract the 2x here and subtract the 2x here. This equals 0. This is not like terms. So, and I want it to look like this. So I'm going to write negative 2x, which is this. That's a positive y, so that becomes plus y equals 1. Okay? So negative 2 is my coefficient of x, 1 is the coefficient of y, and then 1 is the constant. Now the only problem is this rule right here. This number in front of x needs to be positive. So the only thing we're going to do real quick is just multiply everything by -1. So negative 2 times -1 is positive 2x. -1 times y would give you negative y, and then -1 times 1 give you -1. So this is the slope-intercept form. And then I changed it into standard form. Okay, anything that's in standard form where x has an exponent of 1 and y has an exponent of 1 makes a linear equation. So you have to be able to go back and forth between these two. So again, here's in slope-intercept form. I want to move it into standard form. So I want to get the -1/2 x over. So the opposite of -1/2 x is +1/2 x. All right, so just like before, we're going to put 1/2 x, that's plus y there. And then this was 0, and then we're left with a constant of -9. Okay, so now I have my x and y on the same side. I have my constant on the equals by itself. But the problem is this is a half and needs to be a positive whole. So what can we do? We can multiply by the denominator. Because when I multiply this by 2, that crosses out and just gives me x. But if you multiply that by 2, everything gets multiplied by 2. And so that would give you 2y equals -18. Oops, not equals. What was I thinking? It should be plus, right? Sorry. Okay, now we have standard form. A would be 1x plus b, 2y equals -18 is a constant. Okay, I'm going through this fast because I'm assuming you know how to do this pretty well already. The last example I want to focus on is here. Again, slope-intercept form. I want to put in standard form. So again, we've got to get this over here by subtracting it. And so we have -2/3 x. So I'm going to rewrite that. -2/3 x plus y equals 2. Okay, so this is 0. Move that over here, left with 2. So again, always this a is going to be sort of an issue. So now we have a negative and we have a fraction. So again, just like before, I can get rid of the fraction. A lot of people want to do the reciprocal, but the problem is if I multiply by the reciprocal here, I have to do it here and here, and then I create a fraction here, and that still needs to be a positive or negative whole number. So what I can do is I can multiply by the denominator, just as I did up here. If I multiply by 3, those 3's will cross off and leave me with -2. However, it needs to be positive, so if I multiply 3 by a -3, I think that'll take care of our problem. So those cross off. A negative gives you a positive 2x, and then -3 times y, -3y, equals 2 times -3, which is -6. Okay, so that's just, so you're going to go on IXL.com and you're going to work on S10, and I'd like for you to master that. But don't spend any more than I don't know, 25 minutes on it being the max. If you don't master it by 25 minutes, go ahead and call it. But I would think that you could do it way before then. I would think this could take you 10 or 15 minutes. But we want to make sure we still have our skills of moving equations around here. So we did not have class today, so the only thing you need to come in for tomorrow is having the S10 mastered, and then you also had a video last night with completing some problems on the worksheet. So make sure you have those two things for tomorrow, and I will see you in the morning. Have a great one.